हॅलो सर, आवाज येत नाही.
Now it is visible. Now it is audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I forgot to switch on the mic. Okay. So advantages and disadvantages of the facility location in the rural areas. So in the previous lecture we have discussed the advantages and disadvantages for the urban areas. Now we are discussing the advantages and disadvantages for the rural areas. So what are the advantages for the rural areas? So you can see here the cheaper and the ample availability of site and land is available. So in case of a villages, in case of a rural area, the maximum site, maximum land is available, and it is available in the cheaper range. So if you compare the cost of the urban, cost of the land in urban areas and the cost of land in the rural areas, so at that time so much difference is there. Therefore, the maximum land is available in the rural areas. Then cheaper labor cost. So whatever the amounts, whatever the salaries we are giving to the laborers in the rural areas, so that labor cost is also very cheaper. And if the labor cost becomes very cheaper, at that time the turnover of that particular labor, it is also very less in case of a rural areas. Then no municipal restrictions. In case of a villages, in case of a rural areas, some restrictions are there, but it is not that much as compared to the urban areas. In case of a urban area, there are so many restrictions are there whenever we have to start the industry. But in case of a rural area, immediately you will get the permission and immediately you can start your industry in the rural areas. Then scope for the expansion. What is meant by the scope for the expansion? If I have to expand my industry, if I have to start a new plant in case of a rural area, immediately the land is available, all the sources are available, immediately I can go for the expansion. But in case of a urban area, very less space is available, so in that case I will not go for any type of expansion. I will not go for increasing one more plant. So such types of the scope for the expansion, it will be there for the rural areas. Then next, no slums and the environmental pollution. In case of a rural area, the slum areas are not available. So expansion is not possible in case of a urban areas, but in case of rural areas, as the slum areas are not available, and also whatever the location of the industries are there in case of a urban areas, it is near to the city only. So maximum environmental pollution is taking place, and that pollution will be affects on the human life of that particular urban area. But in case of a villages, as the maximum land is available, you can start your industry at a maximum distance from the villages or the rural areas. So environmental pollution is taking place. Somewhat pollution is there, but it will not be affects, or it is not having any adverse effects on that particular rural area people. So whatever the disadvantages of the urban areas are there, whatever the disadvantages of the urban areas are there, that becomes advantages for the rural areas. And whatever the advantages of the urban areas are there, that advantages becomes disadvantages for the rural areas. Now we'll discuss about the disadvantages. What is that? Poor transportation network. So in case of a rural area, the road conditions are not properly it is there. Then size of the roads are very small, so it is very difficult to take that particular big tractors, trucks to handle that particular raw material or taking that particular product from rural areas to the market. So the poor transportation facility is there. No good communication networks. So even in some of the villages, sometimes the mobile network is also not available. So many villages are there where the mobile networks are not properly available. So we are unable to connect, or we are unable to communicate with the another person. So such types of the communication facilities are not properly available in the rural areas. Sourcing of the components. Sometimes if immediately some additional raw material is required, some additional components are required. So what we have to do, we have to visit to the big cities, we have to visit to the urban areas, and we have to purchase it. Means you have to travel the maximum distance from the rural areas to the urban areas in order to purchase some additional components and the additional materials. So such types of the additional components, additional materials, it is not available in the rural areas. Then far away from the market. If you have started your industry in the rural areas, no problem, but you have to travel the maximum distance. If you have to purchase the raw material, or even you have to sell your product in the market, you can sell it, but you have to travel the maximum distance from rural areas to market, or from market to the rural area. Therefore, whatever the industries are located in the rural areas, it is far away from that particular market. Then high absenteeism during the harvest season. So in case of the rural areas, the attitude of that particular laborers are somewhat different than the attitude of laborers in the urban areas. In the urban areas, laborers wants to do that particular work, but in case of a rural areas, it depends upon their attitude. If he wants to work, he can work. If he don't want to work, he will not work in the effective manner. So such types of the situations are happening in the rural areas related to the labor's attitude. No education and medical facilities. So whatever the advanced education facilities are there, maybe engineering is there, maybe medical is there, some another training institutes are there. Such types of the advanced education facilities are not available in the rural areas. So for that purpose, we have to visit to the big cities. You have to take the training, you have to take the advanced education, and then you have to implement in the rural areas. Also, some medical facilities are available, some small hospitals are available. But sometimes if major accidents are happening in the rural areas. So for such types of the major accidents, the facilities are not available in the rural areas. And no service consultants, training institute, and the trainers. Service consultants means there are so many consultants are there, those who are helping to the various types of the industry in order to increase their productivity. Some training institutes are there. Some additional skilled operators are there. It will not be available in the rural areas. But in case of a cities, in case of a urban areas, service consultants are available. If you call immediately within 30 minutes to 1 hour, he can reach to your industry and he can help. If you have to take some additional training, so that facilities are available in the urban areas. But in case of a rural area, that facilities are not available. And sometimes if you have to hire a skilled person in order to go for the maintenance of any type of machine, so such types of the skilled persons are not available in the rural areas. So for that purpose, we have to call such trainers from the big cities, from the urban areas, and then you have to go for the maintenance. So these are the major advantages and the disadvantages of the rural areas. So I have told you, whatever the advantages of the urban areas are there, that advantages becomes disadvantages of the rural areas, and whatever the disadvantages of the urban areas are there, that disadvantages becomes advantages of the rural areas. So whenever I am starting my industry, even in the urban areas, even in the rural areas, for both the conditions, for both the activities, there are some advantages and there are some disadvantages. But maximum times, whenever we have observed that, maximum times that MIDC areas are available in the urban areas only. Separate MIDC sections is provided in the big cities. So in that particular MIDC areas only, many of the industries are in working condition. In nowadays, so whatever the small villages are there, whatever the small rural areas are there, if that small villages are near to the cities only, so for such types of the villages are also, again, so many times the industry area is increases. But for both the conditions, it is having some advantages, it is having some disadvantages. So these are the major advantages and disadvantages for the facility location in the urban areas and in the rural areas. Okay, so this is related to the urban and the rural areas. Now, we'll move to the next point related to the plant layout. So whatever the previous 3 points we have discussed, that is phases of the site selection, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, then factors affecting on the site selection, tangible factor, intangible factor, or it is also called as the primary factors and the secondary factors, and Just now we have discussed advantages and disadvantages of the facility location in the urban areas and in the rural areas. These are the 3 points which is related to the part 1 of this particular chapter related to the facility location. Now we'll move to the second part of this particular chapter 5, which is called as a plant layout. So now it has been observed that before studying this particular point related to the plant layout, it has been observed that the location for your industry is selected. Maybe it will be selected in the urban areas, or maybe it will be selected in the rural areas. That means your location is finalized. The site is finalized. Now we have to start the construction of your industry, and during that particular construction, the plant layout, in which manner we have to design the layout of your industry. So for that purpose, during the construction, this plant layout plays very important role. So now we'll discuss about important things related to the plant layout. So what is the basic definition of the plant layout? What is the basic definition of the plant layout? So here I have defined a simple definition. That is, it is the plan of an optimum arrangement of facilities. So when we can say that the plant layout is properly designed, or whatever the layout I have designed, it is very good. So when I can say that, so it is the plan of optimum arrangement of all the facilities. So in the industry, so whatever all types of the facilities are available, different types of the equipments are there, different types of the machines are there, some material handling equipments are there, so whatever the space is there. So all these particular factors are called as a facilities in the industry. Then what is the definition of plant layout? It is the plan of an optimum arrangement of facilities, including personnel. Personnel means it is related to the man, workers, operators, laborers, operating equipments, whatever the machines, equipments we are using, that is operating equipment, storage space, whatever the space is provided to start the industry. Some horizontal space is there, then another vertical space is there, somewhat height is there. So that particular concept is called as a storage space. Material handling equipments. So whatever the equipments, whatever the facilities we are using for handling the material, maybe you have to take the raw material from one location to the another location, whatever the tractors, trucks, cranes, trolleys, whatever that instruments are there, that instruments are called as a, or equipments are called as a material handling equipments, and all other supporting services along with design structure to contain all these facilities. So the simple definition for the plant layout is there. It is an optimum arrangement of all the facilities. Plant layout means it is an optimum arrangement of all facilities, which includes personnel, means man, labor, workers, supervisors, then whatever the operating equipment, machines I am using, storage space, utilization of the storage space, material handling equipment, and rather than this, whatever all other supporting services are there, all these particular facilities we have to design in the effective manner. All these particular facilities, which includes personnel, operating machines, equipment, storage space, material handling equipment, all these particular facilities we have to arrange in the effective manner. If all these particular facilities are arranged in the effective manner, due to that particular arrangement, your profit goes on increasing. Your profit of your industry goes on increasing. Then we can say that the plant layout is to be properly designed. When I can say that my layout is properly designed, if whatever the facilities, whatever the number of facilities are available in that particular industry, if all that particular facilities are arranged in the effective manner, and due to that arrangement, the profit of your industry increases, then we can say that the layout is properly designed. Therefore, whenever the number of operators, number of workers, number of supervisors, number of men, women, if they are working in the industry, whenever they are working in the industry, they have to work in the effective manner. When they can work in the effective manner, the location of the machines is to be properly provided. There is no any maximum distance between machine number 1 and machine number 2. The worker has to not travel the maximum distance from one location to the another location. So wherever the heavy duty components are there, in order to handle that particular heavy duty components, material handling equipments are to be provided. Whatever the machines, whatever the equipments are provided, all the machines are working in the effective manner. Machines are not in the maintenance. There is no any breakage is taking place. So if such types of the facilities are available in the industry, then and then only your industry can be worked in the effective manner. If your industry will be worked in the effective manner, automatically your profit will goes on increasing. Therefore, here the simple definition is made like that. Plant layout is defined as it is an optimum arrangement of all the facilities which are available in the industry. Whatever the facilities is provided, whatever the facility is available in that particular industry, if all this particular facility is arranged in such a way that due to which your profit will goes on increasing. So therefore, whenever the site is selected for starting the industry, once your site is selected, first of all, the rough design has been prepared. How, where the location of the machine, where is the location of material handling equipment, where is the input, where is the output, where we have to store the different types of the products, where the inspection department is provided, where production department is there, where design department is there. In advance, this plan we have to prepare as per the requirement. Sometimes what happens in the production department, we are manufacturing the products. And if you have to go for checking of that particular product, maximum distance we have to travel from production department to the inspection department. So for that purpose, what we have to do, the inspection department will be provided, or it should be provided near to the production department only. Therefore, immediately, once the product is manufactured, immediately I can move that particular product in the inspection department, and immediately I will go for the inspection. So such types of the facilities are designed in advance before starting the construction. So for that purpose, we have to prepare even rough drawing. That rough drawing we have to represent in front of management. Then again, if any additional changes are required, you have to make the changes as per the requirement of that particular product, and then you have to start the construction. Because sometimes some heavy duty machines are there, some heavy duty equipments are there. Once they are located at one space, so it is not possible to move from one location to the another location because the structure is very heavy. So to avoid such types of the difficulties, first of all, we have to prepare the plan, decide the location of the machines, and according to that, we have to fix that particular setup at their respective locations. So this is the simple definition of the plant layout. Then we'll discuss about the objectives. So the primary goal of the plant layout is to maximize the profit by arrangement of all the facilities. Again, what is the objective of the plant layout? The primary goal of the plant layout is to maximize the profit. What is the main goal of the plant layout? To increase the profit, or to increase or to maximize the profit by the arrangement of all the facilities in the industry. If your machine equipments are not properly arranged, your material handling equipments are not properly accessible, your layout is not properly designed, at that time it is not possible to work in the effective manner. If the working is not taking place in the effective manner, your profit will not be increased. Therefore, the primary goal of the plant layout is to maximize the profit by arrangement of all the facilities in the industry. So whatever the facilities we are provided in the industry, from start point to the end point, all the facilities should be provided in the effective manner, and whatever the provided facility is there, it should be worked in the effective manner. So this is the requirement of the plant layout. So in that, again, there are so many objectives are there. That objectives we will decide. So for example, sometimes what happens, we are performing the number of operations, and what is your requirement? If I am performing the operation on the lathe machine, and once my work is over on the lathe machine, immediately I have to start my operation on the milling machine. So what is my requirement? The lathe machine and the milling machine should be provided near to each other. Because once the operation on the lathe machine is over, immediately I can shift to the milling machine and I can start my next operation. So if milling machine and the lathe machines are provided near to each other, so that operator has to travel the minimum distance and he can start their work immediately. Then I can say that the layout is properly designed. But sometimes in some of the industry, The lathe machine is provided at one side, and the milling machines or whatever the necessary machines are there, they are provided at maximum distance. So at that time, what happens? That operator has to travel the maximum distance from lathe machine to the milling machine. So your time is increases. Means we can say that the layout is not properly designed as per the requirement of that particular product. So such types of the situation, so many times it is happening in the industry, and due to these reasons only, whatever the production time is required, that production timing goes on increasing, and if the production time is increases, automatically your production cost is increases and the profit is decreases, productivity decreases. Therefore, as per the requirement of that particular product, we have to design the plant, we have to provide the machinery in the proper sequence. So this is the requirement of good plant layout. So now we'll discuss some of the objectives in detail. What are the objectives of the plant layout? So what is the first objective? You can see here, streamline the flow of material. This is the main objective, streamline. So once at one side your raw material is coming, and at another side that raw material is converted into the finished goods. But in between first point to the last point, so many operations we are performing, so many machineries are there. First lathe machine, then drilling machine, then CNC machine, then VMC machine, then some another different types of the machine. Like that, number of machines are available from start point to the end point. But what is the requirement? Whenever that raw material is converted into the finished goods, whatever the flow of the material is there, that flow should be properly streamlined. There should not be any backtracking. Once the operation is performed on the machine number 1, immediately that product has to move to the machine number 2 to perform the remaining operation. Once all the operations on the second machine is finished, that product has to move on the third machine. Again, that product does not have to come to the machine number 1. If such type of the situations are happening in the industry, then we can say that the layout is not properly designed. Therefore, what is the first requirement? Streamline the flow of the material. Whether your material is, that material has to move in the forward direction only. There should not be any backtracking. Also, you have to maintain the proper flow. You have to maintain the proper speed. Therefore, the distance between machine number 1 and machine number 2, it is not maximum. Minimum distance should be provided. So immediately from machine number 1, that raw material will come to the machine number 2. Immediately it will move to 2, 3, 4, 5, like that process will be taking place. Therefore, whenever we have to go for the proper streamline, the layout should be properly designed. Therefore, streamline the flow of the material, the plant layout or design of the plant layout, it plays very, very important role. Then facilitate the manufacturing processes. So whatever the manufacturing processes we are using, means we are deciding the sequence of operation. That's why I have given the example of the lathe machine and the milling machine. So facilitate the manufacturing process. So many manufacturing processes are there. So many operations we are performing on that particular raw material. Initially we are using the lathe machine, then we are using the drilling machine, then we are using the milling machine, then we are using the CNC machine, VMC machine. At the end, there is the inspection, then again there is the coloring of the components. Like that, so many activities we are performing while converting the raw material into the finished goods. But the major objective is that facilitate the manufacturing processes. So whatever the manufacturing processes I am using to convert that particular raw material into the finished goods. So for that, again, you have to maintain the proper sequence of the operation. Sequence of the operation, if it is properly maintained, there should not be any backtracking taking place. Once the operation number 1 is over, immediately it will move to the second, immediately it will move to third, fourth, fifth, like that. So whatever the manufacturing process we are using, that manufacturing process also we have to maintain in the proper way. Then third, maintain the high turnover of the process in the process inventory. So maintain the high turnover of the processes. So whatever the process, whatever the manufacturing process I am using to convert the raw material into the finished goods. Whatever the manufacturing process I am using to convert the raw material into the finished goods, through this particular process, there should be the high turnover. Sometimes some faulty manufacturing process are implemented in the industry, and due to that faulty manufacturing process, so many times the backtracking is taking place. breakage of the material is taking place, breakage of the tool is taking place. Sometimes major accidents are happening in the industry, and there is a maximum damage to that particular machine as well as to that particular labor also. So such types of the faulty manufacturing process should not be used in the proper design layout. Sometimes the layout is properly designed, but faulty manufacturing process we are using. Due to that particular faulty manufacturing process, the turnover of that particular industry goes on decreasing. Therefore, whatever the process I am using to convert the raw material into the finished goods, it will be designed in such way that that process has to maintain the high turnover. So this is the second requirement or third objective of the good plant layout. Then some another objective there is that minimize the material handling. When maximum material handling will be taking place? If the maximum distance is provided in between machine number 1 and machine number 2. So what is the requirement? Number of operations are finished on the machine number 1. Then we have to take that particular component from machine 1 and we have to locate on the machine number 2. So at that time, that material has to handle by the labor or the operator. Means the material handling is taking place from one location to the another location. In order to avoid such types of the situation, your layout will be designed in such a way that the minimum material handling will be taking place. So for that purpose, whatever the different types of the material handling equipments are there, maybe chain drive is there, belt drive is there, some roller conveyor chains are there. So such types of the facilities are provided in the industry. Therefore, automatically your product can be moved from one location to the second to third to fourth, like that. And many times you have seen some of the videos, maybe from the Tata Motors, maybe from the Mahindra Motors. So whatever the advanced facilities are available, at one side, total plant is designed automatically. Automatically, that particular vehicle is coming, automatically engine will be fitted, then automatically all that axles, all the body will be fitted, and at the end, you will get the total manufactured car. So in that case, there is a minimum material handling is taking place. All the material is handled by that particular robots, by that particular all the cranes, conveyors only. Therefore, there should be the minimum material handling to the labors. Automatically, the handling of the material is taking place by all the facilities, and your material will be converted into the finished goods. So this is the fourth objective of the good plant layout. Effective utilization of man, machine, and the spaces. This is very important. Sometimes the layout is properly designed, but there is no any proper relation between the man and machine. Layout is properly designed, but either the machines are not working properly, or that machine is under maintenance, or sometimes machine is properly working condition, but the operator is not working in the effective manner. So such types of the situations are also happening in the industry, due to which it will be effects on the overall development or overall productivity. Therefore, whatever the effective utilization of the man, machine, and the space, it is also very, very important. So whenever the skilled operators, some skilled laborers are available in your industry, we have to utilize their knowledge. We have to utilize their skilled persons for the overall development. Sometimes some advanced machineries are also available, maybe in the form of CNC, VMC, some automatic machines are available. So proper utilization of that particular machine should be taking place. So this is the requirement of the good plant layout. And also utilization of the spaces. This is very important. The proper utilization of the space should be taking place. Sometimes in the industry, large amount of space is available, but once the final product is prepared, that product we are keeping near to that particular machine only. That product will not be shifted to the store department. So if that number of products are located, or if it is kept near to that particular machines only, so at that time that operators are unable to work in the effective manner. Maximum times that product creates the problem whenever that operator is working on that particular machine. Therefore, what is the requirement? Once your product is ready, by using any type of conveyor, by using any type of tractor, or by using some operators, you have to shift that particular product in the store department. Also, sometimes proper utilization of the space should be taking place. Sometimes maximum distance is available in the horizontal direction, some another distance is available in vertical direction. Maximum height is also available sometimes. So the proper utilization of all the three dimensions should be taking place. We can perform some work in the right direction. We can perform some work in the left direction. We can perform some work in the top direction, some bottom direction, like that. Utilization of the space should be taking place in the effective manner. All the machinery should not be located at one corner only. At corner only machines are located and remaining space is totally open. So such type of the situation should not be taking place in the good plan layout. So proper utilization should be taking place. At one compartment, all the types of machines. At another compartment, inspection department is there. At another compartment, so whatever the heating components are there, it should be provided in the separate space. Whatever the heavy duty equipment, whatever the heavy duty machines are there, it should be provided near to that respective locations only. Such types of the space should be provided. If the maximum space is available, the proper utilization of that space will be taking place. Make effective utilization of the cubic space. Just now I have explained. If you are having the maximum distance at the right side, left side, top side, bottom side, utilization of that particular space should be taking place in the effective manner, which is called as a make effective utilization of the cubic space. You know about the structure of the cube. It is having all the 3 dimensions. Cube is available in the form of 3D sections. If I am utilizing the space of the industry in all the directions, in X direction, in Y direction, in Z directions, so then we can say that the effective utilization of the cubic space is to be taking place. Sometimes what we are doing, we are using the right side portion, we are using the left side portion, but we are not using the height of that particular space. So whenever some heavy duty components are there, some press machines are there, some punching machines are there, so that's press machines, punching machines, for that some maximum height is required. So whatever the vertical portion, whatever the vertical space of that particular industry is there, that vertical space also we have to utilize. Then we can say that the proper utilization will be taking place. Then we can say that they make effective utilization of the cubic space. That means all the 3 directions, all the number of space are available in that particular industry, their utilization should be taking place. Then 7, flexibility of manufacturing operations and the arrangements. Whenever I am designing the plant layout, whenever I am designing any layout, so during designing some flexibility should be provided, because after a few years, if I have to go for the modification in that particular layout, so without much cost, without much time, immediately modification should be taking place. Therefore, whenever I am designing the present layout, that layout can be designed as per the future concept, because in future, if there is a modification in the product is taking place, according to that modification of the product, we have to change the layout also. But whenever I am changing the layout in the industry, the proper flexibility should be there. Without any cost, without much more time, immediately modification will be taking place and I can go for the rearrangement. Therefore, flexibility in the manufacturing operations, we have to change the sequence of operation. In the previous layout, I have to utilize the lathe machine first, and second time I have to go for the milling machine. But sometimes afterwards I have to go for the modification, and it has been observed that initially I have to use the milling machine and afterwards I have to use the lathe machine. If such types of modifications we have to do, that time the proper flexibility should be there. If the flexibility is not provided at that time, total plant we have to destroy it and again new plant we have to install. But in such condition, maximum cost is required, maximum time is required. But to avoid such types of the conditions, the proper flexibility should be provided while designing the present layout, and due to that particular flexibility, immediately I can go for the rearrangement of that particular layout. And last important objective is the provide safety and comfort for the employees. This is very important. We are designing the layout, proper utilization will be taking place, proper utilization of the man machine will be taking place, proper utilization of the space is taking place. We are using all the material handling equipments. But important thing is that on that particular layout, so many machines are there, so many heavy duty components are there, some big machines are there, all such types of the machines are handled by the operators only. But whenever they are operating on that particular layout, on that particular machine, we have to provide the safety or comfort for such types of the employees. Therefore, whenever we are designing the layout as per the requirement of that particular product, as per the requirement of that particular layout, we have to provide the safety devices. Some heavy duty components are there, some noisy operations are there. In such conditions, we have to provide some earphones, some helmets, goggles, hand gloves, some aprons are there. Such types of the safety devices we have to provide to that particular employee. Therefore, that employee can be works on that particular layout and there will be the overall development. Also, some comfort, it is also to be provided because sometimes the workers are working in the temperature areas. Whenever we are performing the casting operations, some press operations are there, some welding operations are there, some hardening, tempering operations are there. So in such types of the regions, the maximum temperature is there. It is more than 100 degrees Celsius. So in such situations, it is very difficult to work in the effective manner. So for such types of the compartments, for such types of the layouts, some types of facilities should be provided so that employee or that particular worker, operator, he or she can be works in the effective manner. So these are the major objectives of the proper plant layout. If your industry will satisfy all these particular 8 objectives, then we can say that the plant layout is properly designed. If your profit is decreases, if there is no proper utilization of man machine, if we are not using the space maximum times, the machines are under maintenance maximum times, if the accidents are happening many times, what is the number of situations are arises in the industry. Why such types of the situations are arises? Because your layout sometimes it is not properly designed. The sequence of operation is not properly designed. All the machines are under the maintenance. Skilled operators are not handling that particular machine. Material handling equipments are also not available. They are not properly working. Some crane facilities are not available. Tractors, trolleys, it is not available in industry. If such types of the facilities are not available in the industry, means we can say that the plant layout of your industry is not properly designed. But at the end, whenever we are observing that, or that management is observing that from last year to this year, the profit is maximum. Why the profit is maximum? Because your layout is properly designed, due to which all the facilities which is provided in the industry, they are works in the effective manner, and due to this only the profit goes on increasing. So these are the different types of the objectives which we have to consider during designing of the plant layout. Okay, so with this, today we will stop here. Remaining part we will take in the next lecture.